Your dog has never once questioned whether you love them. Every morning, they wake up trusting you completely, wagging before their eyes are even open. That trust is sacred. But we are going to tell you the uncomfortable truth that most vets see every single week. Love is not enough if the food bowl is wrong. The Purina Lifespan Study proved that one simple dietary correction added nearly 2 full years to a dog's life. These 10 mistakes are costing your dog's health. Let's talk about what needs to be changed. Number 7, the wrong bowl. This one sounds almost too small to matter, and that is exactly why it goes unnoticed for years. Most owners use plastic bowls because they are cheap, lightweight, and come in every color imaginable. They rinse them occasionally, maybe run them through the dishwasher once a week, and never give it another thought, but plastic is porous. Over time, it develops microscopic scratches from daily use and washing, and inside those invisible grooves, colonies of E. coli, salmonella, and yeast take up permanent residence that no rinse can reach. NSF International ranked pet bowls as the 4th most contaminated item in the average household, with yeast and mold found in 45% of tested bowls. Beyond infection risk, plastic leaches chemicals into food and water with repeated use and UV exposure, and can cause contact dermatitis around a dog's mouth and nose, producing the pigment loss and chronic irritation vets call plastic dish nasal dermatitis. Switch to stainless steel. It is non-porous, dishwasher safe, and does not harbor biofilm. Wash it daily with hot soapy water. And one more thing that surprises almost every owner: do not raise the bowl off the floor unless your vet has specifically prescribed elevation for a condition like megaesophagus. The bowl shapes every meal from the outside, but the substance that sits beside it, the one most owners treat as background noise, shapes every cell from the inside. Mistake 6. Ignoring water. Food gets all the attention, and water gets refilled when someone notices it is low. But dry kibble, which is what the majority of dogs eat every single day, contains only 9 to 12% moisture. A dog's body is roughly 70% water. That gap is enormous, and most dogs spend their lives quietly underfilling it. Research published in Frontiers in Veterinary Science found that dogs generally operate in a state of mild chronic dehydration because they are reactive rather than proactive drinkers. They do not drink until thirst becomes uncomfortable, and by then, the deficit has already accumulated. This persistent low-level dehydration impairs nutrient absorption in the gut, reduces kidney filtration efficiency, and concentrates urine to the point where calcium oxalate and struvite begin crystallizing into stones. On the other extreme, allowing a panting, post-exercise dog to drain a full water bowl in one breathless session can cause hyponatremia, a dangerous dilution of blood sodium that in severe cases causes seizures and death. The solution sits in the middle. Target 1 ounce of fresh water per pound of body weight every day. Add warm water or low-sodium broth to dry kibble meals, and pay attention to changes. Sudden increases in thirst can signal diabetes, kidney disease, or Cushing's syndrome. Sudden decreases often mean pain or nausea. Your dog cannot tell you what is wrong. Their water bowl can. Hydration is the foundation. But even perfectly timed meals can be quietly undermined by the calories that slip in between them. Mistake 5. Treating treats as free calories. Nobody thinks of a treat as a threat. A Waltham survey found that 58% of dog owners give treats more than once a day, and most of them genuinely believe they are doing something kind. The problem is the math, and the math is brutal. A 5-pound Yorkshire Terrier needs roughly 182 calories per day. Its entire treat budget, the 10% daily ceiling endorsed by the World Small Animal Veterinary Association, is just 18 calories. That is approximately 4 blueberries. 1 cube of cheddar cheese is 69 calories, which consumes 38% of that dog's daily needs in a single casual gesture. A pig ear can clock in at 184 calories for a dog whose entire day's requirement might be 300. Beyond pure calorie overload, treats are generally not nutritionally complete. Commercial dog food is formulated to deliver precise ratios of over 40 essential nutrients at specific caloric densities. Every treat calorie that displaces a kibble calorie dilutes that precision. Know your dog's daily calorie target, multiply by 0.10, and treat that number as a hard daily budget. Choose baby carrots at 4 calories each, plain green beans, blueberries, or small pieces of cooked plain chicken. For training sessions, reserve a portion of the day's actual kibble as the reward. Count everything, including dental chews, pill pockets, and food toppers, because they all draw from the same budget. The next mistake hides behind the most well-intentioned trend in pet nutrition, and the science behind it is genuinely alarming. Mistake 4. Grain-free diets. It started as a wellness trend. Grain-free dog food was marketed as natural, ancestral, and premium, and it worked. A 2017 APOP survey found that 45% of pet owners believed grain-free was healthier for their dogs. Then, in July 2018, the FDA issued an alert linking grain-free diets to a sudden surge in dilated cardiomyopathy, a serious heart disease in which the cardiac muscle weakens and the chambers enlarge, eventually leading to congestive heart failure. By April 2019, the FDA had received over 560 reports and documented more than 100 deaths. 91% of affected dogs were eating grain-free diets. 93% of the implicated formulas listed peas or lentils as primary ingredients. The leading scientific hypothesis centers on taurine, an amino acid essential for cardiac muscle function. Dogs synthesize taurine from methionine and cysteine, but legume-heavy diets appear to interfere with this biosynthesis pathway and disrupt taurine recycling through bile acid metabolism. Choose foods from manufacturers that employ board-certified veterinary nutritionists and conduct AFCO feeding trials. If your dog is currently on a grain-free diet, have that conversation with your vet today. Before moving forward, we would like to know from where you are watching us. Please share in the comments. Then comes the next mistake, which is not about what goes into the bowl, but about a single daily decision that can land a dog in emergency surgery before sunrise. Mistake 3. 1 meal a day. One feeding means one schedule, one cleanup, one task checked off the list. Some owners even justify it with a wolf ancestry argument, imagining their dog is built for infrequent feast or famine eating. But domestic dogs have lived alongside humans for more than 15,000 years, and their digestive physiology reflects that long partnership with regular, moderate meals, not the sporadic gorging of a wild predator. The ISVMA notes that dogs fed once per day are more likely to be obese than dogs fed multiple smaller meals, partly because a single large insulin spike followed by a prolonged fasting trough encourages fat storage rather than efficient energy use. For toy breeds and puppies, the danger is even more immediate. A Chihuahua, Yorkshire Terrier, or Pomeranian puppy has immature hepatic glycogen storage. A long gap between meals can drop blood glucose below 60 milligrams per deciliter, triggering weakness, tremors, incoordination, seizures, and in some cases, death. Better is to split all adult daily food into 2 meals, morning and early evening. Puppies need 3 to 4. Toy breed puppies under 3 months need 4 to 6 small feedings spaced evenly throughout the day. Pair this with a slow feeder bowl that can extend eating time from 30 seconds to more than 8 minutes and dramatically reduce the swallowed air that precedes disaster. 1 meal a day builds risk over time. The mistake in the number 2 spot quietly steals years that most owners never even knew they were losing. Mistake 2. Guessing portions. Waltham research found that 87% of pet owners estimate serving sizes by sight, and only 20% measure every meal. The feeding guide on the bag feels authoritative, so owners pour what looks right and move on. The bag guidelines themselves are broad generalizations, and Vet Times reports that daily energy needs for a single 15-kilogram dog can range from 328 to 991 calories depending on activity level and individual metabolism, a nearly 3-fold spread that no single printed number can capture. The Purina Lifespan study followed 48 Labrador retrievers in matched pairs for 14 years. Dogs fed 25% fewer calories lived a median of 13.0 years compared to 11.2 years in the control group. That is a 15% lifespan extension achieved through portion control alone. The lean-fed dogs also needed treatment for osteoarthritis an average of 3 years later, and showed 50% less hip dysplasia at age 2. The mechanism matters. Excess adipose tissue is not passive storage. It is an active endocrine organ, secreting pro-inflammatory cytokines including TNF-alpha and IL-6, and the hormone leptin, so always weigh food on a kitchen gram scale. Learn the Purina 9-point body condition score, and reassess every 2 to 4 weeks based on what you feel and see, not a fixed number on a bag. Portion control can add nearly 2 years to a life. But the mistake sitting at the top of this list can end a life before morning, and it is hiding inside a habit almost every dog owner has. Mistake 1. Feeding around exercise. You feed your dog in the morning before the walk, or fill the bowl the moment you both get through the door after a run. The dog is hungry, the routine is set, and it has never seemed like a problem. Almost no one realizes there is a physiological danger window surrounding vigorous exercise and meals. And almost no one realizes how fast that window can close permanently. Gastric dilatation volvulus is the second leading cause of death in large and giant breed dogs. Even with emergency surgery, mortality rates range from 10 to 33%. GDV unfolds in 2 rapid stages. First, the stomach distends with gas, fluid, or food. Vigorous exercise near meals disrupts normal gastric motility and promotes aerophagia, the swallowing of air that comes with panting and breathless eating or drinking. Second, the distended stomach rotates on its mesenteric axis, sometimes up to 360 degrees, sealing off both the esophagus and the pylorus simultaneously. Within minutes, the twisted organ compresses the caudal vena cava and portal veins, trapping blood in the splanchnic circulation and causing hypovolemic shock. Gastric wall ischemia follows, then cardiac arrhythmias in 40% of cases, then endotoxemia, disseminated intravascular coagulation, and multi-organ failure in rapid cascade. Wait at least 1 hour before and 2 hours after any vigorous exercise before offering a full meal. Ask your vet about prophylactic gastropexy for any high-risk breed. Every single mistake on this list was made by someone who loved their dog completely. Love is not the problem. The distance between the life your dog is living right now and the longer, healthier, fuller one they deserve. Feed with knowledge. That is the deepest form of love there is. Which mistake surprised you the most? Share in the comments below.